first and foremost, hi and welcome. Welcome to the Gardens of Golshan. This is a short-run D&D 5e adventure that the lovely people at ManaPot Studios are kindly letting me do, and that all of these fine people are helping me bring to life. This is an adaptation of the first D&D story that I ever wrote as a GM, and now it's being readapted, and we're going to dive right into the adventure in just a minute, but first, we are going to do some introductions. My name, as you can hopefully see, is Liza. I am going to be the dungeon master for this adventure. I would also love to go ahead and introduce my players. Why don't we go ahead and start with Ainsley. Ainsley, would you tell us a little bit about yourself and your character?
Yeah, hi, I'm Ainsley Rivers. I'm Lace Transformer on Twitch. I have been gaming for maybe 10 years now. I enjoy it, and I stream on Twitch too. I'm super excited to be playing today with these fabulous players. My character is, as you can see right down there, Zozo Baab. He is a bugbear paladin whose gods are kind of like the muses. They're of art and music. But he's not so artistically inclined himself. He is kind of like that ultimate metal fan who will tell you about all their favorite bands but cannot play a note on a guitar, but has all the heart. Little slow and dumb. And that's it. I'm excited to play.
All right, Justin.
Sure, we'll just go around. Hi, everybody. My name is Justin. I play role-playing games with these guys whenever I can. Those that still live in the city. I live in New York. I publish games when I can, trying to get into it under Sweaterpunk Studios. You can find me as Sweaterpunk Studios on most social media. And you can check out my games there, and I'm super excited to play in this game. I'm playing Corvel Benoit, who was kind of like a noble son who rejected following in their parents' footsteps, and so ended up with this crew when he was younger, kind of roughing it and neglecting his responsibilities. He's been neglecting those responsibilities for a long time, but may soon have to enter back into that world.
Wonderful, thank you. And Anastasia.
Well, as you just heard Liza say, my name is Anastasia. I do this for the love of the game. I have no handles, no presence online. I just want to come here and have fun with people that I enjoy spending time. My character is Muhaka. She is a Warforged bard. To give you an image of her, think of the posable dolls used by artists, and she's pretty much that. Extremely posable, very delicate hands, made with metal and porcelain, but her feet are complete stumps. She's not made for walking, she's made for playing musical instruments. And yeah, that's that. She's just here to play some good music and bring some joy and beauty into this ugly, ugly, ugly world. Make up for past mistakes, etc. You know, the usual thing.
Wonderful, thank you. And Nikki.
Hi, yeah, I'm Nikki. I also don't have any Twitch handles or anything like that. I tend to perform more on stage around the improv scenes of New York than on the screen. So this is different and fun. I'm playing Chastity. She is a tiefling warlock, and she is twin sister with Belief, who is also in our party. And she really enjoys being a tiefling and being a warlock and just, you know, generally getting into trouble. She also is very charming and likes to get people to do what she wants, sometimes for information, sometimes for fun. You know, that's pretty much what she's about.
Wonderful. And last but certainly not least, Reed.
Hello, yes. I am Reed. and I've been playing some variety of tabletop games for like 6 years now, I think. A while. Yes, I also am here in New York, and I have 2 cats who may inadvertently guest star if they will not stay out of my face. So we'll see how that goes. I'll try to keep them away. Anyway, and as far as who I'm going to be playing, I will be playing Belief, who is also a tiefling and Chastity's brother. And he does not so much enjoy being a tiefling and wouldn't really enjoy being a warlock if he were one. But fortunately, he isn't. He was a fighter until some unfortunate accident resulted in the loss of a leg. And so now he's kind of taken up spellcraft and is moonlighting as a wizard to try to find a different way to navigate the world. And I'm going to see how well that goes.
Wonderful. So, to give you a little bit of insight before we hop right into the story, as I think a few of my players mentioned, these people all know each other, but not necessarily in the traditional sense of a D&D party. They used to adventure together, but stopped several years ago, and they are all, unbeknownst to them, heading to the same place. As the camera opens, we see a desert. It is far from the lush valleys and the abundant fields, from the river ports of the coast of this country, Maran. This green sand desert seems to swallow the landscape. Travelers dry up along with the streams, and most of the traders take the long way around through the Ashen Fang Mountains, when they have not the right magic to guide them through the barren sands. But on the spur of a mountain that cuts into the heart of this desert sits a palace, Golshan Palace, the crumbling seat of an ancient noble family. Legend says that the palace was built by the great hero Elsidon, and was added on to by his other heroic descendants. But as 1,000 years have come and gone, the palace has fallen into disrepair. Growing too poor to maintain this remote seat, Elsidon's descendants sold their treasures and moved away, leaving Golshan to be reclaimed by its magnificent garden. But recently, the Palace of Golshan has been abuzz with activity once more. Lady Petra, the last living descendant of Elsidon, is to be married to the only surviving son of a wealthy merchant family, Kian Azuras. As a wedding gift for his bride-to-be, they are fixing up the ancestral palace and hosting their lavish, multi-day wedding there. The camera zooms into this palace. We can see it. Towers of golden stone, elaborately carved, overgrown with vines, roofs of tile and slate, and beyond the gardens. The last rays of the setting sun hit it, turning it into shades of pink and orange. The largest tower, the great bastion keep, is still crumbling, and a whole other wing of the palace is still covered in scaffolding. But we zoom into one of the smaller towers in the wall that looks out over the surrounding desert. Looks out closer in onto a city, it seems, of tents. There is still a buzz of activity even so late in the day. Workers hauling things, more tents being set up as travelers arrive from the mountains and the desert. Everyone is gathering for the wedding. And standing on the battlement, looking out over all of this, we see a figure. Reed, can you describe for us what Belief looks like?
I can do that. Belief is sort of a middling height for a human. He's looks sort of like actually one of the guards that you would see walking around this place. He's wearing sort of I believe it was a rich blue color that they wear for their clothing, with a breastplate over the top of it. and he is leaning on a carved staff. Hanging from his belt are actually a number of items. A compact short sword, what looks like a heavy book on a chain, and a sort of smoked glass bottle covered with a silver filigree hung on a leather thong. He isn't wearing anything on his head at present. Probably would be hard anyway because he has rather prominent horns that poke through his hair. They're not easily hidden. And he is wearing what looks like a, for lack of a better word, sunglasses at night. And yes, there's a pair of round lenses over the eyes that are sort of at the moment, a dark bluish color. And perched on the battlement nearest him is and pecking at an identifiable bit of greenery is a raven that has kind of unusual dark blue feathers at the tips of its wings. About the same color as the clothing that Belief is wearing under his breastplate. I do believe that's it. Oop. Liza, I'm not sure I can hear you enough.
That's true. You can't, but now you can.
There we go. All right.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to deal with there seems to be an issue where we're getting lots of problems with music. I'm trying to fix it. I know why this problem is happening and I can fix it. There. I think I know how that was happening, and now we can fix it. We see Belief standing on this battlement, looking out over the activity. A few of the guards walk past, seeming to nod in recognition, and a few maybe look askance or look sideways at the small horns peeking out, but most don't pay any mind, as he is wearing the livery of the house. But we see another figure walking up behind him who catches the stares of the guards, perhaps for a few different reasons. Nikki, can you describe Chastity for us?
Yeah, so Chastity is about 5'6". She has big curly black hair that her horns are hidden in, so there's like these big curls. So looking at her, she's very human passing. If her skin might be like a little bit paler than normal, and if it catches the sunlight right, it has this like purple pearlescent sheen, like a better version of what the Twilight vampires have. And she's wearing a leather corset, and she has on one of those, like, they look like skirts from behind, but they're really pants with just like, you know, like a waist cape. She looks cool. Like, and she, if you were to look closely in her eyes, like the irises are purple instead of a normal color. But she walks confidently, and she always has one of those like half smiles, like she knows something that makes you want to like talk to her and be like, what is this person up to? And she's always watching.
Yes, as Chastity walks up, one of the guards who just walked past nodded to you, Belief, trips a couple of steps down the stairs as he's kind of turning over his shoulder to look at her as she walks up next to you.
If it was possible for a raven to give somebody a reproachful look, this raven gives you a reproachful look.
I don't care. I giggle slightly, just like, morning, brother.
Hello. Don't you have somewhere else to? I thought you wanted to interact with people other than me while we were here.
I will be interacting with people other than you, but first I need it to be known that we know each other, so that way people will leave me alone. You know, having a brother in the guard is quite useful.
Oh yes, of course it is. Well, what is it that you want?
Can I not just want to say hi?
It's not exactly keeping in character, I must say, but very well. You've said hello, and now if you will excuse me, I was actually supposed to be taking a walk around the wall, so I'm.
Oh, cool! I'll walk with you.
Oh, good. Just what I wanted. I would start kind of walking along though.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm following him, but as I'm following him, my hands are like behind my back, and I'm walking in an obnoxiously cheery way.
Confirm, it is obnoxious.
Yeah, the two of you stroll along. There are several sort of inner courtyards. This palace definitely was built over time, added to by different generations in the sort of style of the century or the decade. You have to walk, upstairs to a half floor and then sort of over a part of a roof. And you're walking around one of the inner courtyards, and you can see a lit window as night sort of begins to fall. And Belief, you know that the lit window in question belongs to your new pupil, the lady of the house and the bride of the upcoming wedding, Lady Petra. And you can't see her from within, but you can see sort of the gentle glow coming from inside. But another glow catches both of your attention. Far up on one of the peaks behind the palace, the peaks of the Ashenfang Mountains. There have been carts coming over the road, over the mountain road for the last few days, certainly since you two arrived a few days ago. But you can see sort of a glowing constellation of fires a few miles away, at the sort of last mountain rest before coming down. And as the camera starts zooming away from the two of you and up into the mountains, the stars wheel overhead. And we zoom actually past this camp and further a little into the mountains, and we see a solitary horse and cart. And sitting in the cart, we can see a figure.
So, you see Corvel Benoit, looking a little haggard, looking a little road weary, trying to get his horse Twinkle Toes to giddy up and behave, which Twinkle Toes will not. Twinkle Toes is a bad horse. And as he winds up the road towards Bastion Keep, as soon as he can get an eye on it, he pulls off to the side of the road and he starts scrambling around the back of his cart. And he sort of like pulls off his shirt, which is like sort of worn and like he's been wearing it for a day traveling probably. And he like pulls out his like pack of like traveling supplies, and you can see all this strange paraphernalia, juggling balls and masks and different things for performing. And he pulls out sort of a half broken mirror and starts to lather up to like shave. And he shaves his face, sort of looking in the mirror. He pulls on like a nice, cleanly, perfectly folded shirt that's in the back, frilly, cuffs. He unleashes a box that has a beautiful hat with two huge plumes in it. And he sort of sighs to himself, and you can see, especially now that he's shaven down to a nice presentable face, that he's a little bit like, his cheeks are a little sunken in, his eyes are maybe just a little bit dark. He looks like he hasn't been eating as well as maybe he could. And he takes the hat out of the pack, puts it on, and he takes out the two huge plumes and tucks it in. And he looks at himself in the mirror, and he just gives a big grinning smile, and then just lets it fall completely again as he sort of scrambles back out onto the front of his cart, and he
Before you have a
kicks the reins.
chance to get to the front of the cart, you can hear someone coming up behind you.
Yeah, so he immediately starts scrambling, and he's like, "Oh, what am I doing? This is the Dragon Fang Mountains. There's like known bandits on the road, and I like just left my cart sitting out here." And so like he starts to scramble, and there's clattering happening in the cart.
Yeah, Zozo, you are walking up, and you see someone definitely like looting a cart on the road in front of you. This character looks kind of shifty. He's like pulling stuff out, putting it on, like clearly digging through the contents of whoever poor soul's cart this was. And the person hears you coming while you're still quite a ways away and starts running for the front of the cart to make a getaway.
Would you like me to tell everybody what I look like?
Yeah, the camera pans out from Corvell and then does a quick pivot, and we see Zozo Bob.
Zozo Bob is really, really tall. Too tall to be a person, because he is in fact not a person. He's a bugbear. He has huge, long arms, really ungainly hands with long nails on the end of them, long, pointy ears, and he has his jaw kind of unhooks and comes out like this, with teeth on the end of it. His upper body is really, really big. Like, he didn't exactly skip leg day, but he maybe goes half leg day. He's wearing armor. And all over it has been painted with great care by someone who obviously didn't have his hands. Pictures of scrolls, pictures of lutes, drums, beautiful calligraphy pens, and it's all decorating him, including his giant shield, which he holds, and a huge greatsword that he has to wield with two hands. But he's kind of got it on his side for now. He looks a bit dusty, like he's been traveling, and he's been on the road probably a long time, but he's not tired. And certainly, as soon as he sees somebody who he thinks is looting a cart, all of the energy comes back into him, and he starts this thumping, kind of ungainly, what for him is a trot towards where he sees what he thinks is something really bad. And he says, "What are you doing? What's going on?" And he yells it.
He says, "Stand back, there's more people in here than it looks like."
"You're stealing cart! You steal cart! Bad!" And he draws his sword out with both hands and kind of approaches the cart.
And
I think Corvell just goes, "Zozo?"
"Oh, Corvell! Corvell, friend!"
Lifts his head from behind the flap on the back of the cart with the weird plume sort of hanging out. And he's just like, "What are you doing here?"
"Oh, Corvell, what you do? Friend, why you in cart?" And he puts his sword back in and, "Oh, hug Zozo! Friend, hug Zozo!" And he's not gonna wait for you to say yes. He's just gonna grab Corvell and like pick him up and twirl him around and like crush him to his big armor.
Yeah, Corvell just falls off the side of the cart into your arms, I think.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, he's just like lets his arms go loose as you're just like holding him. And he's like, "It's a long story. It's like there's a wedding. There's a lot to catch up on, actually." He's like, "What are you doing here?"
"Oh, wedding. Funny you say wedding. I going also to wedding.
Oh, man.
Fancy wedding, art place."
I was so afraid that this whole wedding was going to be a huge drag, and now I'm really excited because we're going to... It'll be just like the old days, me and you.
"That's right. There will be great music at this wedding. Sublime, holy music. Maybe they will shred like bands we used to see together."
I was like, no, they wouldn't.
"I hope. Like Rotten Pumpkins."
Oh.
Great band.
I pray to the gods.
"I'm so happy to see you. How your show been?"
we've had some turnout. I'm thinking of it as like perfecting my craft. It's like I'm not really trying to get like rich and famous. Like that's not really what it's about for me.
Corvel, it not matter. You practice holy art, you good. Your show, magic show, special show. Zozo Baha believe in you.
Zozo.
Let us go to wedding together.
Let's do it.
So Zozo hops up into the cart next to Corvel, and Twinkle Toes picks up his feet reluctantly and begins moving on down the road. And
not in front of my friends.
And as the camera leaves the two of them, we see them just cresting over a rise, and they can just see the palace below them spreading out. It's gardens twice as large as the area of the palace itself, kind of glittering in the morning light with water and just lush greenery, contrasted with below the black-green sands of the desert. And as we zoom down past the palace, we slow as we enter the sprawling sort of conglomeration of tents that have assembled at the foot of the palace. There's sort of a little plateau looking out over the desert, and there are tents set up here. It's hot and dusty. There's a flurry of activity. There are sort of better dressed people being covered by sunshades carried by their servants. There are people carrying barrels and baskets and buckets to and fro, a great stream of things coming to and from the palace. But we zoom to one tent, and the camera dodges between the flaps of the tent, and inside we see a figure.
As the light, there's lanterns there casting lots of shadows. We see a very tall but lanky form, much like Zozo. Long arms, covered in shawls, like very, very ornate shawls. Feet are covered, but we can hear the stomp as she moves around. She walks to a shelf, and there are masks, a handful of masks, very Venetian styled, and these clearly mechanical but very delicate fingers roam over them for a moment, and then she picks one. And we don't see the face because it's cast in shadows, but is affixed on, and we see the glow of two eyes. And Muhaka is getting ready for her play. She picks up an instrument. It is large, it is stringed, but clearly not something that should be held up. It should be played down on the floor. It's called a kanun. And she picks that up. Once more, kind of stares into the mirror for a long time, completely unmoving. Not too still. And then she turns and she walks out, ready to approach the stage and entertain her guests, the guests.
As Muhaka steps out of her tent, we see that it is nearing sunset. And Muhaka takes the road up to the palace, and you see a servant in sort of this blue livery. All of the servants seem to be wearing this very fine blue velvet livery, even in the heat. And the harried servant kind of looks and says, "Yes, the entrance is by the wall in the garden," and sort of points you, and you can see there is a line of clearly performers heading in that direction. You walk through it, through a couple of paths that are low lit with sort of small floating, glowing, magical lanterns, and into a large tent beside an ornamental small lake, let's call it a pond, an ornamental pond with a fountain in the center. And there you can see several other performers readying themselves. You see a matching dressed troupe of acrobats. You see a a juggler. You see two sort of ruddy-skinned people you recognize as fire genasi, who have sort of torches and poi ready for their act, and you see a yuan ti man doing stretches in the corner. And soon enough, your time is called, and you walk out onto a stage facing this beautiful, ornate portico, columns overgrown with vines. There are more of those strings of lanterns. There's a balcony, and there are just lavishly dressed guests milling around. You are one of the first to perform, and you see a few of the well-dressed people, goblets in hand, settle onto the various benches, a few of them on decorative poofs up on the balcony, and you begin to perform. And as you play, you look out over the crowd, and you see a few familiar faces. Maka, who do you see first?
Definitely Zozo. Recognize that large gait anywhere. That large form anywhere. And of course, Zozo, instinctively, her head tilts ever so slightly down at an angle, knowing that if, just like, out of instinct, not knowing who's there, but just an instinct to look down, and then she sees Corvell.
I have a slight tangent of a question, but I feel like it's important.
Mm-hmm.
Did we like Muhaka's music?
Relevant question.
Muhaka, why don't
Did
you
you-
go ahead and roll us a performance check?
Yeah.
And we can see
Oh,
how much
dear.
better you've gotten since the last time
Oh
that you
dear,
played
I've
for
gotten
them.
so much work.
First
Yeah,
roll,
so
first roll,
Oh
first
no,
roll.
oh no, oh
Roll
no,
the
I'm
marbles,
gonna roll
here we
a
go.
one.
First roll.
I'm gonna roll a one. There you go. Yeah, that's a 13.
Well, Muhaka, this is definitely the largest crowd I think you've ever played for, and certainly the crowd with the most important people in it.
Oh wait. Sorry, wait. Yes, that is a 13. Never mind.
No worries.
Roll
so
a 7.
oh no. Yeah, how has your opinion of Muhaka's music changed since the last time you heard it, Corvell, Zozo?
I think Muhaka probably wasn't his favorite musician, but he probably did like and support their music. And hearing it now is probably such a rush of like nostalgia and like warmth and like fond memories for a second. But like I think as the song plays, it all starts to come back, sort of some of the darker things that happened and some of the negative associations. So it was very comforting, and then like welled up emotions to a point of maybe being uncomfortable for Corvell.
Zozo was ecstatic to see any music played in this extremely fancy wedding at a wonderful palace. He just assumed that it was going to be marvelous. And then when he recognized some of the notes and recognized the music, he liked it. He liked it unreservedly. He's always just been delighted that there was a creature that was created just to make music. This is sublime to him, so he just is just unreservedly happy, and he's really excited to see his friend up there on the stage also. Like, it's kind of like your friend made Pope almost.
Yes, you can definitely both hear a few people in the crowd kind of murmuring to each other. Saying, what is this curious thing? It plays music so well. And just sort of a little bit of a murmur of interest running through the crowd, and you see a few people sort of nodding their heads, but the interest is, no one is getting up and dancing just at this particular moment.
It's not for dancing. Don't play dancing music. Introspective music.
Twins, where are you standing as Muhaka begins to play?
I'm standing right next to Belief.
Oh, joy. Well, I imagine somewhere kind of near the back and up, if that is at all an option.
Yes, there is a balcony, as a matter of fact.
Splendid. Okay, well then, on the balcony, good view of the crowd, good view of what's going on from up there.
Yes, there are several guards actually up there as well. There's one, there are a few guards sprinkled around the crowd, but there is one archer up there.
So I'm like sitting over, like I'm like straddling the balcony rails, so I'm like leaning casually with my back in the corner and one leg safely on the floor and one's dangling like over it. I'm just like twirling my hair, watching.
And I do believe, see what I did there. I do believe that when Muhaka starts to play, I'm at first not paying attention to who got up on the stage and looking somewhere else. I hear the music, I look over, see who's playing, and fairly immediately, I say to the Raven, who of course is perching nearby, as usual, keep an eye, and I turn about and walk away.
I follow him.
Oh, good.
Where are we going? Are we going to spy on some things while everyone's distracted?
You know why we're going.
Why?
I sort of like give you an irritated look, and from behind you, you hear the Raven sort of quietly croak, "You know."
Yes, but I so like to hear you say it. You care about who's performing?
Just give you, I give you a look kind of over the top of my glasses, and say, Golshan has some of the largest gardens of any palace in this land, or any land that I know of. Why don't you go get lost in them? And just
you say the sweetest things.
Yeah, and just keep walking.
As Belief walks away, I think we get a brief glimpse of the last time that he saw Muhaka. Would you tell us a little bit about it?
Muhaka, maybe you should open this, because you probably know what your shop looks like better than I do.
It is very precise. The shop is small. It is very precisely organized. There are very, again, ornate boxes, and each and every one of them are musical boxes that she handcrafts herself. There's a bar up front where you pay, and behind it a table strewn with bits of scrap and metal, gears, strings, and we see her bending over one of these as the door opens and a bell rings. She comes up, she steps out, and she sees a face that she did not at all expect to ever see again.
You probably see two faces because
Well,
if memory serves, I'm being one of those faces is dragging the other.
I imagine I see one first before the other is forcibly pulled in.
Yes. So, yeah.
Why are you here?
Oh, hello. We need a leg.
I am glaring at the ceiling.
I smack you on the shoulder. Stop being such a brat. Listen, Muhaka, you are the a foremost expert in crafting things, and you know Belief is being stubborn about this whole leg thing, and frankly, it is tragic, and I'm over the tragedy of watching him walk around on a piece of wood taped to his thigh.
Well,
Sorry.
what is the saying? He is an adult and can make his own decisions?
He is making his decision, and it is to ask for your help, isn't it, Belief? And I smack him again.
I give you a long, we will talk about this at even greater length later look. And then I address a cabinet and say, it would be best if my dear sister did not have to assist me in walking across the room.
I
So
think
you
that
help?
was...
And
Since you ask, very well. I cannot make it myself, but I can reach out to my maker, and I am sure he would relish the challenge of making a leg.
Perfect.
the scene
Come, let's go.
fades to black, and we just hear the soft clunking of that same leg across the inlaid marble floors of the palace. And Muhaka, after 10 or 15 minutes, your set comes to a close. Though you do not sweat, I imagine after a performance like that, you're feeling... Well, tell us how you're feeling.
Normally she would feel ecstatic, but right now she is very confused, perturbed, also disappointed in herself because she got distracted seeing these people that, once again, she did not expect to see. So she sort of picks her things up, gives a quick bow, turns, and stomps off the stage. You can't, it's very hard to read her expressions, but she is... Yeah, she's not happy with her performance at all.
As you exit the stage, those two fire genasi that you saw in the prep tent step out and begin lighting their torches and beginning a juggling act. And as you walk out into the crowd, you see a halfling woman, very richly dressed, elaborate piercings in her nose and ears, kind of step forward. And she waits, a few moments, but she comes up with a goblet in one hand, and says, "That was a very intriguing performance. If it is not an insensitive question, are you one of Govard's?"
Yes, he is my maker. Who are you?
My name...
Not many know, recognize his work.
You could call me an interested competitor. My name is Nazreen Dalia. I'm an investor in numerous projects, but I would love to speak with you more at length about Govard and his various innovations. I am willing to pay very well for my researches. And she sort of smiles and says, "Please think about it." And she just offers you a small token. Looks kind of like a coin, but you can see a few arcane sigils embossed on it.
Yeah, so Mohaka reaches out, and it's fluid, but there's a sharpness to it, so she flexes her fingers and then reaches down to pluck it up, brings it to her face, and once again, "I will ponder this. I wish you a good night. There are people who I must see."
Of course. And she steps aside and back into the crowd, looking over her shoulder at you, sipping her wine.
Mohaka just straightens up and just continues on her way, looking for, once again, the very recognizable bugbear.
Absolutely. Zozo Ba'ab, where are you at this point?
So Zozo Ba'ab tried to get towards the front of the stage. That's his usual spot whenever he sees a show, right to the front. So he's gotten as close as he can get and sort of tried to watch as she got off the stage and tried to see where she went.
Yeah, easy enough to do. You see this sort of halfling woman intercept her and have a brief conversation, and then you're able to sort of step into Muhaka's line of sight as she walks away. The two of you are still sort of standing in front of the stage, and the light from the fire jugglers sort of reflects off of Zozo's armor and Muhaka's mask.
Muhaka. Oh, I did not know you were here. Performance was so beautiful. Always beautiful.
It was acceptable. It was acceptable. I did not expect to see you here.
I also not know you come here, but it is beautiful wedding and deserve your music. Zozo not know why you only say acceptable, but Zozo guess he's okay with it. How long you here? You staying for whole wedding?
Yes, I will be here for most of the wedding. There's much about this land that is fascinating, and I would love to know more. Especially the daughter. You know that she is related to the great hero.
Yes, I hear this. Zozo no. Oh.
Sorry about that.
You have to talk to Rhodey?
I have to talk to Rose. I got distracted. Somebody in the crowd was yelling, "Go! Yeah!"
Zozo understand about Rhodey, yes. Yes, this is Palace of Hero, Palace of Great Art. Zozo knows. It's historic hero. Amazing place. I also find it intriguing. Hey, Zozo not mean to, be nosy. Who was small lady?
There's someone that my master, I suppose, should be worried about, but knowing him, he would not care. He only cares for the things he makes.
Well, was she bad lady?
No, she is more of a, looking for a leg up in the competition.
I see. A little bad.
No, just a traitor.
I understand. Are you playing this whole time? Zozo Ba'ab want to see more music? Maybe take time, drink something together, sit outside?
Well, the gardens are a lovely place, and if you wander in far enough, we can have privacy, and I would enjoy playing for you.
You guess what? Hey, guess what?
What?
You know who here? Yeah, Corvell.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, you saw him. I didn't
Yes. He was standing next to you.
know. Oh, okay.
He's always standing next to you.
Yes,
He's
Corvell
standing
for
next
now.
to you right now.
I think that Corvell has gone and attempted to. I wanted to let them have their conversation, so I assume that he's there right at the second. I think he went and tried to actually start people dancing. I think he probably like nudged Zozo on the arm, and he's like, "This is gonna be the best performance ever seen me put on." And then he just sort of like walks into the crowd of nobles and starts to like laugh and look at them and starts to mingle. And he's like actively trying to like get like some of like old noble ladies to like come out onto the floor and like dance with them if they will.
Okay, make a charisma check.
Sure. Let's do that.
I will give you. You know what? I'll give you performance. You have experience in this sort of thing.
Okay.
Make it
A performance roll.
Yeah.
Let's do
All
it.
the
Sorry.
checks in this campaign are going to be performance checks. Spoiler.
Yes.
Oh.
A 21.
21. Yeah, nice. I think in particular, a few of the older ladies with sort of their long embroidered veils are just like into it. The music for this fire juggling show that's going on right now is actually pretty drum heavy.
Whoa.
So, it's not like they just mostly have like a drummer with them. So you're just kind of like
Okay.
grooving with
Can you,
some
like-
old ladies by the drink table. I'm very into this.
Would it be ostentatious to have tried to like talk the mother and come out, like let's have fun, let's be silly, like that sort of thing?
So you spot Lady Suad, who is the mother of the bride,
Okay.
actually deep in a conversation with her daughter.
Okay.
And she kind of glances over at you as you're doing this and just kind of gives you this look like,
I would know not to interrupt.
Have you met Lady Suad before in any of your family's dealings?
Probably like when I was young, probably not for years.
Yeah, so you get the feeling from that look that she doesn't recognize you, or kind of, and just sort of looks almost right past you, as if she doesn't have the time of day for you. But you kind of see, turning away from this sort of conversation with her mother, the bride-to-be dressed in this absolutely resplendent, heavily embroidered golden outfit. She's wearing these large, sort of very puffy trousers, a very heavily embroidered jacket or kaftan, and then this beautiful sort of veil that's draped, like very sheer, studded with precious stones over her hair. She is glowing in the light, and she kind of looks over at you, sees you dancing with all of these older ladies, and kind of hides her smile behind her hand as her mother continues to talk to her.
Great. And so I'm kind of rug with the old ladies. I think I probably do catch that Muhaka's come down off the stage at a certain point, and I will definitely run over. And I will also throw an arm around Muhaka and be like, that was an amazing performance. Like, it brought me back so instantly to when we were young. It's like, I can't believe that you're here. They've brought in all the musicians from everywhere for this thing, haven't they?
Yes. From all over the place. Why did you have come a far way to here? Were you invited? Is it a family dealing?
He says, my father actually passed away recently. My mom asked me to come for the family. She has a lot she's dealing with right now, and so that's why I'm here. Representative of the Benoits. Never thought you'd see the day, huh?
I did not think you would ever step up to your responsibilities. It is good to see, if odd.
I'm making the best of a bad situation. Would you like to dance?
Oh, I've never been much of the dancer.
I mean, this is the perfect time to start in a crowd full of all the most important people in all of the land.
I was going to steal Zoso to the gardens.
All right,
Give a
fine.
performance.
Fine, if you
could dance
must.
there.
Come with. We will shred like old days.
Okay, all right.
Listen to great music in garden.
I guess we have days of this, right? I shouldn't wear myself out.
Yes.
Oh no, you look great on dance floor, dancing like gorgeous elf twirling in Twilight World. But I think maybe music in garden.
Did you guys ever hear the legend of the Dancing Queen? He says as they walk off.
You guys begin to walk off as the fire dancers are finishing their performance, and we cut over to Belief kind of walking down the stairs and into this main area. And as the two of you are walking by, you catch sight of a young man, probably in his mid-20s, wearing beautiful armor, kind of this sort of platinum silvery breastplate, with a variation on the crest of the palace itself, which strikes you, belief, as a little odd since you don't think you've seen him before. He has this sort of brushed back dark hair and looks at both of you with sort of this suspicious look. You two are used to, I think, getting this look.
Yep.
From people, and you see him give you a look and then stop, and believe you see it very pointedly, his eyes train down your outfit with the similar livery to what he is wearing, although certainly less nice. And he finishes that long look and then turns on his heel and walks away.
Who was that? Should I dispatch him? He looks like an asshole.
I give you this like look that and just like, what? No. What are you talking about?
Well, he gave you a look, and that's disrespectful, and you know that nothing is more respected than power, is all I'm saying. And if you need me to show you and remind you of that, I'm happy to do so.
No. Did you?
What?
Unless your powers of observation have faded, I presume you noticed that he and I are wearing a similar looking crest, no?
Yes, I've noticed. You guys work together. You can't do it yourself. I'm here for you.
Well, if you could restrain yourself from, I would say interacting, but I know that's not realistic, interfering with the staff, at least. I would appreciate it.
Like the staff or all staff?
Sorry, cat panic in the background there.
Proof ruffles his wings annoyedly.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a muted thunder in the distance. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so I just, I actually stop walking and I turn to look at you and I'm just like, why this? Why now? You know that now is not the time.
Wow. I was bored. And I had to get out of town a little bit because I might have accidentally slept with the wrong couple.
Yes, this is my sympathetic face that wore out the 8th time I heard this story.
It is not the 8th time. It's the 6th time. Regardless, I wanted to get out of town for a little bit, and I thought I'd come see you. We're at a wedding. I mean, what could be more fun than a wedding? Everybody's in their best mood in a wedding.
Clearly. Yes, well,
except for you, who... I'm sorry, did you replace that, your leg? Just, like, take that rod and stick it up your butt?
Charming, as always.
Thank you.
Yes, in case you had noticed, 1, I am working. 2, I seem to have this...
No one's really working at a wedding.
2, I seem to have this persistent problem with an extremely irritating noise that keeps following me around.
That's your bird.
I have somewhere to be, presumably, that is not here, so...
yes, we should go say hi.
Yes, go dance or go do something, anything. Excellent. Fantastic idea.
Are you going to be in the mood all weekend?
I am working.
I know, but do you have to work with like a piss pot sour expression on your face, or can we just like have fun and work? You know, those two things go hand in hand.
Oh, I know. Let's try an experiment. Let's change some variables around. Let's go to different places for a little while and then see if our moods change at all.
Mine will, yours won't, but sure, let's experiment.
As you part ways, I think all of you, this is the moment when time catches up with all of you, and the fire dancers are stopping their act, and you see a man step up onto the stage. He's in his probably late 20s, very well dressed, in that same dark blue velvet, sort of long robe. He has a little bit of a chin strap beard, very clean cut looking, expensive rings on his fingers, and some of you would recognize this as the groom to be, Kian Azuras. And he steps forward to give a speech. And he sort of begins speaking. I think all of you at this point are far away and not necessarily paying attention to exactly what he is saying, but it speaks of the gift that Petra will be in his life and how he wants to honor and recognize her and the legacy of her family. And talks about rebuilding this palace, which is a treasure of Maran. And it's not the most impassioned or the most grandiose speech any of you have ever heard. He's not a great speaker. But he seems sincere, and there's a soft smile on his face. And at the end of it, he gestures and says, as a symbol of the union of our houses, some of you may know the product of my family, and kind of tugs on the collar of his robe a little bit. You know, that like collar tug that people do? You know, like, yeah, like that. And then gestures forward to the balconies, and the guards that were up on the balcony kind of untie these long banners that fall from the top of the balcony down to the floor below. So, 25 feet. These just banners of velvet that are all embroidered in silver thread with the house crest, which is a gauntleted fist clutching a serpent and sort of strangling it. These banners must have been extremely costly and time-consuming to make. And Muhaka, I think you would know that this is sort of the traditional Marani wedding gift. This is the traditional point in a Marani wedding where they give gifts. And this is clearly some sort of symbolic offering on the part of this groom. There's a polite applause, and definitely from the crowd some like, oh my goodness, such an expense, such an extravagance. And people kind of giving him a little bit of like, oh, I see. Look,
They love it.
as he walks back into the crowd, and you see kind of Petras shyly step up and like take his hand, and people all sort of like applaud politely, and honestly it's a little awkward. But then, he gives her a little side hug, and they wander back out into the crowd and are sort of accepting congratulations, and people are pressing goblets of wine on them. And the next performer steps out onto the stage. It's a troupe of acrobats doing tricks.
Question. From where Muhaka was standing, I'm sure she would have maybe necessarily heard the words per se, but she was looking on the stage. Did that interaction seem forced, say, towards Petra? Was she just simply shy?
You can go ahead and make an insight check, for sure.
Okay.
Oh, dang it. Should have been a performance check. Wait, never mind. No, I'm kidding.
I should perform how I'm...
No, go ahead and make an insight check.
Well, we'll see how well that... That's a 3.
A 3.
Well, 6 total.
I think from the angle, you're having a hard time reading her expression. And the light is also pretty low. The sun has set at this point, and as you guys are walking into the garden, you can see flowers. Night blooming flowers have begun to open and to bioluminesce. And there are also like lanterns strung about, and more of those sort of little floating balls of light. So everything is dimly lit. Those of you without dark vision can see just fine. But I think you have a hard time making out her expression. There's definitely something kind of off about it, but whatever it is, you can't put your finger on it.
Well, it's none of my business anyway.
Corbell is so distracted by everything, like as the banners fall and as like the flowers begin to bloom. It's just like every new novelty he makes such a big deal out of, like performatively, and it's just like talking to all the random nobles, like, oh, these are so luxurious and expensive. Can you believe he did that? And like, oh, these flowers are so beautiful. Like this place is amazing. I'm having the best time ever.
How far was Chastity from Haka? Am I saying your name right?
Yes.
The twins had just walked down the stairs from the upper level, and Muhaka, Corvel, and Zozo were walking around the side of the stage and further into the garden. So probably 100 feet, 150 feet, maybe?
Okay, so when all the banner unflurling is happening and all that, I want to, like, sneak through the crowd. Not, like, sneak, but, like, use it as a distraction to sneak up on the group and be like, oh, surprise!
Sure. Make a stealth check. Why not?
Unless you want to perform stealth, in which case.
Dang it, Reed.
You
Don't
may
use
perform
my
your
words
stealth.
against me.
Let me...
We got to make those art school degrees count for something.
That's right.
Let me double check that I have this right. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. All right. What'd you get?
21.
21. Yeah, I think you're pretty practiced at this, sort of slipping unnoticed through crowds. It's a big part of your work and your oeuvre. So the three of you turn to walk away after the speech, and standing there right in front of you, as you turn, you see another familiar figure.
Oh, hey guys. Funny seeing you here.
Oh, Chastity! Why everyone here?
I mean, it's a wedding. Why would we miss it?
Nice
Good
to
time
see you.
Because
It's good
you
to
have
see you.
no. Because you have no connections to the people at the wedding.
I have connections to everyone, darling. But also, who needs a connection? Also, I do have a connection. Belief is here. He works here now.
Oh, he work here? Where is he now? We should
I don't know.
embrace.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely should do that. He was just telling me
also
how much
should
he's in
embrace
need of a
me.
good hug.
Reach my arms out to try and hug you.
Okay, I jump in and hug you.
And I give you a good old crusher.
I think
Yeah.
Carmela is completely flabbergasted by Chastity just like appearing out of nowhere, especially considering all the stuff that's going on. This might be a dumb question, but does Chastity look like good?
Oh, she's hot.
But like she was always cute. Does she look
Yeah.
like better?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cormel's in the middle of his like making up stuff and like his act, and just like suddenly is just like frozen and like sort of gap-jawed and like can't believe he sees you, but is also like bewildered. And then you mentioned brother is also here, and then even more bewildered by it, and like he's kind of speechless actually for the moment.
Chastity just
He's a
gives you
tutor here now.
wink. Oh, yes. Belief, yes. He's a tutor for someone important. I don't care.
How is his leg?
But anyway. Oh, his leg? Good. It's enabling him to sulk about much more nimbly now.
Then
So,
the leg
thank
is
you for that.
used-
Absolutely. How have you guys been?
Is he still
Zozo,
salty, your
keep
brother?
busy.
Zozo. I love it. What, Corvo?
It's like, is he still salty?
In general, or at you?
Both.
Yes.
Doesn't surprise me. You look as good as ever.
Thank you. That's so kind of you to say.
You're really here just to follow your brother around.
I have things, curiosities, indulgences. Also, like, I'm gonna miss something this epic. Do you know how many people are going to do stupid things this weekend that I cannot wait to collect information on? You never know when information will be useful.
Chastity keep busy too. Very busy.
Yes, that
But of
is
course-
that is familiar to me. Actually, if you are going to be doing that, I would ask you, could you keep your eye open for anything you might find out about Nazarin Dahlia? She's a halfling woman.
Sure, not a problem.
Tiny lady give out money.
Money? Oh, definitely. We'll keep an eye on her. Yes.
Yes.
As the four of you are having this conversation, Belief, you're still sort of hanging back, trying to distance yourself from your sister a little bit, and you see Kian and Petra walk off the stage. And, you know, through the crowd accepting their well wishes. But a few moments later, you see Petra break off from Kian as he steps aside to talk to his steward, who you've definitely met. And Petra walks determinedly past you and sort of up to the man who was looking at you earlier, and just begins speaking quietly to him. And seeing them next to each other, you can actually see there's a bit of a resemblance between them.
Interesting. Is there any chance, don't really want to go dropping any eaves necessarily, but can I at least get a sense of the tone of their conversation?
Yeah, you could definitely try. Go ahead and make a perception check.
I will do exactly that. 18 perception.
18. Yeah, you definitely hear her kind of walk up, and she's sort of, they're actually kind of leaning against two corners of a column, so not necessarily directly looking at each other, but you're very easily able to tell that they're talking to one another. And Petra is about 19, and this man looks like he's about 21, and they're both definitely standing around like sulky teenagers. And,
A lot of sulking going on in this corridor.
Yeah, it's no wonder you ended up here. And she says, Jithan, I cannot believe that she's going to... And all of these people, this isn't the way I wanted this to happen. And she kind of just rolls her eyes, and you hear him say, well, Petra, it's for the good of the family. All right? And I am here with you. And you see him kind of reach over and just sort of pat her hand. And she just nods.
That's interesting. So, and what was the name that she called that guy?
Jethan.
Jethan. And that name doesn't ring a bell?
Make a history check.
As soon as I finish writing it down, else I'll forget it in 2 seconds. Okay, let's see here. History, you say? Mm-hmm. Let's see. Cool. Natural 20 history.
Yeah, actually,
23 of it.
now you're like, oh my god, why didn't this occur to me earlier? You've been learning actually a lot about the family since you are tutoring Lady Petra. And you know that this is her second cousin from a sort of other branch of the family that isn't the sort of direct descendants of Elsadon. You know that he's also an adventurer, a warrior. He's earned a bit of a name for himself, protecting the innocent. You know that he is a paladin.
Interesting. Do I know of who, by chance?
No.
Okay, fair enough. Unless, is he wearing an obvious holy symbol?
He is not. He just has sort of the symbols of the family.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
No worries. Well, I will mark this, but I'm not going to interfere with them for a couple of reasons. One, again, definitely not eavesdropping, I swear. And also just because, that's, I don't know, it would be probably disrespectful to interrupt, and I have no reason to, and also I'm in a bad mood right now. So I'm just going to sort of take note of that, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity to not go mingle with everybody because I can make the excuse that I'm keeping an eye on Lady Petra. So I would just sort of discreetly stand more or less where I was.
And I think with your 18 perception check, you see someone else also kind of watching them with a disapproving look. There is a tall, and this is also someone you have met, a very tall, probably about 7 feet tall, gold dragonborn. And she is wearing
That's
a
interesting.
white flowing dress that is extremely elegant, not necessarily as rich and elaborate as the nobles. And you know that this is Petra's lady-in-waiting. She's actually the person you've probably dealt with the most here, trying to schedule some time to meet with your pupil while she is very busily preparing for her wedding.
A dragonborn is a lady-in-waiting? Interesting.
Her name, is
I don't like the way you say that.
Zareen.
Zareen?
Yes. And you see her kind of looking over at them, kind of rolling her eyes, and then walking off.
Interesting. I assume that there are other, that I'm not the only person, or guard rather, in this hallway or area, right?
No, it's sort of a big open portico.
Sure.
And there are a bunch of people standing around. You see 2 guards standing sort of down at the bottom of the steps that lead out towards the stage. You see another guard discreetly sort of tucked by a tree. And actually wandering around in the crowd, you see the familiar halfling form of the captain of the guard, Javed,
Okay. Right, of course.
who is mingling.
Okay, well, there's plenty of people around. In that case, I'm actually going to follow Zareen, actually. And I just sort of I just telepathically remind my Raven, Proof, that he should stay put and let me know if anything that requires my presence occurs. To which he grumbles back, I never get to hear the interesting stuff. But he stays, at least for the moment.
Wonderful.
So
Let's cut back to the 4 of you. You're wandering out into the garden, is that what I heard?
Yep.
I don't know where we're wandering to. I'm just out for the wander.
I've grabbed 4 things of punch, and I'm like trying to like awkwardly carry them all in my hands. I'm like, they have delicious punch. It's a delicacy here.
Well,
sorry.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
More for me then.
A Mohawk not drink. You forget.
I guess it's just us then.
That's okay. A bottle is never enough.
Are there people in the garden?
There are a few sort of directly around this ornamental pond as you walk, and there's like 1 row of hedges that are lit. But beyond that, the garden is dark.
Cool. Well, came out here to play some
I-
music, so.
Is it like super dark?
You can definitely see. It's just the lights that are lighting things up stop after a little while. And actually, you can see a couple of, they look like maybe gardeners or laborers. They're just standing around, and you see a couple kind of stumble over to them, and they kind of like you see very much the exchange of like, please go back the other way.
Okay.
As if the gardeners are keeping the stumbling couple out of a particular area in the garden.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Well, that looks interesting.
any reason. Before interest is far too peaked. Darn it.
Sorry, did you say my interest? Sorry, I cut out for a second.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, before interest happens, but it's too late. Chastity's already interested.
Yeah, Chastity's already started looking that way, and she has that look on her face that's like, hey guys, you wanna go do something dumb? And then, like, I turn to you and I just go, do you wanna go like old times? And I grab one of the bottle from Corville and I like smile at him winningly and cheers and take a sip.
Corvell downs one of the cups and then just throws it into the garden. And he's like, let's do it.
Amazing.
Corvell, you are... Oh my god, words. You are here because of your family. And you're just going to get swept up by the first pretty face that comes along?
What are you talking about? This is Chastity.
I read the first pretty face. Maybe the prettiest face, sure.
Chastity looked nice. Wasn't there? Your mom and dad told me you have nice young men here who you're supposed to meet, make, some family connection. Not run around in hedge. Or why not just stay, have music with Mohaka, Zozo Ba'a?
It's like, listen, I plan to turn the head of every young, eligible lass at this party over the course of this weekend, but how often do you get to run around and do dumb things with your old friends? Besides, Chastity's just gonna make fun of me for doing that all weekend anyway. We might as well hang out and have some fun together.
I love it. Cheers. And she takes another sip. Zozo, come on. Who knows what's behind that garden? There could be timeless treasures back there. Maybe that's why they want to keep them out, because there's some restoration statue happening back there.
And like Zozo's eyes, like some little like ching ching, like hit them. You think could be fresco? Maybe
could be a fresco.
Fountain.
Oh no.
Okay, Zozo Bob, in.
We've already seen the best musician that we're gonna see. And he put an armor.
True, no one is better than Mohaka.
As you guys are having this conversation, you've reached the back part of the ornamental pond, and the acrobats finished their act, and the act after that is just finishing up as well. It's the Yuan Ti man that you saw, Mohaka, and he's been doing this really kind of cool contortionist dance thing.
Hacks.
Yeah, it almost kind of like breakdancing is what I'm picturing. A lot of like getting down on the stage and up. It's serpentine, you might say. But he is leaving, and you see another well-dressed figure stepping up onto the stage, and you actually hear a soft like chiming noise. Like the sound of someone like clanking a spoon against a glass to get attention, sort of thing, and it carries much further than it should.
I think an announcement is about to be made.
Oh, wedding announcement? Should we stop to listen?
I should show my face very visibly before I disappear.
How far are we from where the gardeners were?
Probably 40 feet off.
Can I do some kind of like perception to see if I think that they're just trying to do work and keeping drunk people away from their work, or if they're being like...
Absolutely.
Does this look interesting to me?
So here's my question for you. Nikki, are you trying to visually assess the situation, like see what's behind them, or are you trying to read their emotions? I
think I'm more trying to read, do they look shifty?
Okay,
like,
then
do they
make an insight
do they look like
check.
just workers, or am I like, yo, are we getting up to some shit? Because that... I know nothing. I got a 6.
hard to say. They're pretty far away from you. Sorry. And it is dark. You have dark vision, but it's hard to see. For the most part, they just look kind of like annoyed by these people who are clearly drunk and pretty clearly looking for a place to go, like, make out.
Okay. Fine, but we're coming back, yes? Can we go have an adventure of some kind? It's been forever.
You know, Chastity, maybe they say something if make an announcement. Maybe you hear some fun words.
Yes, I'll go with you. I just don't want to be following the rules all weekend, okay?
I don't mind checking out the hedge, perhaps under better light.
You all begin circling back around past the performer's tent as you can hear a figure on stage speaking. As you grow closer, the words grow more hearable? God, what's the word? Audible. Thank you. Whoops.
Words.
More talkable words. You can hear her, and you believe you are, I think, still standing in amongst the crowd, maybe sort of more in the back of the room, as you see Lady Suad getting up on stage. And she is dressed similarly to her daughter, very elaborate, a long sort of gauzy veil, and her long robes are embroidered with a pattern of vines and flowers. And as you all draw near, you hear her giving a speech. And she says, welcome everyone, quite a gathering of your friends and neighbors here to witness this happy day. I thank you for making this journey, for being with us to share the joy of this wedding. Not only are we celebrating the new life that my daughter Petra and Kian will share, but we are also celebrating the new life of this palace. As I am sure you all know, our family has been part of the story of Maran for 1,000 years, and Golshan is the center of that story. Now it is time to bring our family, our story, and the legacy of Elsidon into the modern moment. Now is the time to... And her speech cuts off. Right at that moment, the moon breaks through the cloud, illuminating the stage.
We all look at Chastity.
Oh dear.
And
Chastity, what
I
did you
can
do?
do it!
I look around for Chastity.
and you see a magic circle flare to life on the stage below her. Rings of arcane runes beginning to drift up and surround her and stick onto her, constricting her form. It lifts her up and she begins to scream. And you all see her body twisting and turning to ash and smoke, blood pouring down onto the stage. It is a horrific scene. People begin to scream. And we're going to take a break right there.
Ooh.
Okay, sounds good.
We
Alrighty then.
will take a 5 to 10 minute break and be right back to see what is going on. All right. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. When we last left off our action, our heroes were wandering around a fancy party and listening to a speech by the mother of the bride. However, as they were approaching the stage on which she was speaking, they saw her writhe in pain as an arcane circle flared to life below her, wrapping her in chains of magic. Clearly something foul is afoot. And what I would like for everyone to do is roll initiative.
Not going to perform initiative.
No, I don't think so.
Just checking. I'll let the joke.
Hold on a second. Oh, this is the thing I should have practiced, huh?
Corvella's on 12.
Okay.
Ooh. Chastity's at 10.
I'm trying
That's
to
okay.
feel an abnormally high initiative modifier.
Zozo's at 11.
All right.
Wait.
I am at a 7.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Slow
for all of you
moving.
watching, my rolls this session have been a 10, no, a 7, a 3, a 3, possibly a 6 in there somewhere. It's good times.
I was getting the low numbers out of the way now. Sure.
No, it's fine. I'm not attacking anything, so it doesn't matter.
There you go.
Doesn't matter.
All right. Sorry, give us just 1 second to get set up here. All right. Can I get my initiative from my players again? Corvell.
Chastity has 10.
Chastity
Oh,
has
sorry.
10.
And belief.
Oh, twinsies.
Too good.
Yeah, I know. It's
All
great.
right, Corvell, what you got?
12.
Okay. And Haka?
Zozo has 11. Oh, sorry.
No, it's all good. Zozo's got 11. I believe Muhaka had a 7. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okie dokie. All right. So, Corvell, as you are coming around the corner, you see this thing begin to form in the place where Lady Suad had been standing. It is vaguely humanoid in shape, but it seems to be made of either smoke or swirling sand. And as you draw close to it,
Ooh.
you can hear great audio. Whispering, the sound like stone rubbing on stone or someone frantically speaking under their breath.
Ooh.
You can
And it looked as though they transformed into this?
Yeah, you can still see the sigils from the spell circle sort of wrapping into the pieces of her flesh that are still left, and where they touch, it's transforming.
That's
Sort of boiling and bubbling. It's extremely distressing. You can hear the people in the audience screaming. You see the guards kind of fumbling about their weapons. And you see backing away towards the tent, the performer who had just left the stage, this Yuan Ti man with giant yellow eyes, agog, and just sort of he almost falls back onto his back and begins crawling away. What do you do?
Oh. All right. So, I'm pretty freaked out by it. But then I remember that I'm here to make a splash, really to put my family back on the map. And so I turn to Zozo and I say, remember that time pump at the slaughter pit? And then I just run up and I jump onto the stage. I'll dash, so I have plenty of movement.
Yeah.
But I'll just jump up and I pull out my rapier and I stand on the stage making sure that everyone can see me. And then I maybe flourish a time or two too much, and then I actually try to see if I can my actual attempted stab is maybe a little bit more careful, but I'll attempt to take a swing at this rock monster if I can.
Okay, yeah, its form seems to be made, her form even perhaps, seems to be made more of smoke and swirling sand than anything else.
Yeah, I think this is going to go terribly, but I don't think Corvell reacts.
All right.
No.
Go ahead and roll to hit.
Okay.
It was very careful.
Yeah, 9 to hit.
That
So-
is going to miss.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just standing on stage, wildly flailing at whatever this is, and like I think I jumped up with a plum, and then as I start swinging at it, I'm just slowly like my face is starting to sink as I realize that I'm not in it.
Yeah, you do this beautiful stop thrust, but it just goes. The body of the creature just sort of is so ephemeral that it seems to have no impact whatsoever. And you can still see from this close up the features that once belonged to Lady Suan contorted, and the creature begins to reach towards you.
It begins to what? Sorry, Lisa? Didn't hear you.
It begins to reach toward you. Zozo Ba'ab,
Cool.
it is your turn.
Well, good old Zozo Ba'ab kind of wanted to know what kind of creature it was, but Corvell has run up and pull some old stunts, so Zozo Ba'ab cannot let that really go. He feels that he has to protect his friend, so he's gonna pull up his shield and run up onto the stage and try to stand in front of Corvell.
Yeah, go ahead. Move yourself wherever you want to be.
It's just like old times.
Yeah,
We
so
always jump on stage.
The crowd sees first the dashing, beplumed Corvell, and followed by the massive armored form of Zozo.
Corvell, why?
I really thought I had him there for a second.
All right.
I love you, but
Yep, just like old times.
All right, yeah, you run up, jump in front of Corvell, your shield kind of interposing between this creature and your friend. What would you like to do?
Let's see. Does this thing seem like it? So it's actively reaching for Corvell right now.
It is beginning to. It's not its turn. So.
Oh, it's not its turn. Okay. I do actually want to know what it is. So I kind of know what I'm dealing with here while I'm standing. I want to use my my divine sense to see if it's a fiend or if it's undead or what it is.
Sure, yeah, as you're running up, what does it look like when Zozo uses his divine sense?
So a great red cloud comes up around Zozo, and a tiny woman appears, very small, in a beautiful red pantsuit, and she's carrying a Spanish guitar, and you start to hear light note, and you hear the words, "Hola, amigos!"
Oh my god.
And Zozo closes his eyes, and I say, "Ayúdame!" And I start to sense something from this wonderful Spanish guitarist with blonde hair.
The notes that echo out in response as you concentrate, sort of this discordant minor tone that you have come to associate with the undead.
Hey. Okay. Let's see. Can I move again after that, or
Is it an action or bonus action to use your divine sense? I believe it is.
it is
action.
I believe that's an action.
Yeah, so as you're
Okay,
running
so-
forward, you concentrate, and knowing the foul, corrupt nature of the undead, you interpose your shield between Corvell and the undead creature. And that is the end of your turn. Chastity.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm not getting closer. It's gross. I think it looks evil, right?
It
Just-
don't look good, that's for sure.
Well,
Evil's relative, I guess, but
That's true, evil
it
is
looks
relative.
unnatural, is what I would
Alignment's
say.
a construct. Okay, I'm going to shoot it with Eldritch Blast.
All right. Absolutely.
Because this looks gross. Twice.
All right.
Wait, I rolled. I rolled everything. I got confused.
not
Hold on.
All right, so I
Yeah.
can separate out those two rolls for you. So you rolled a 6 plus 8 and an 8 plus 8, which is a 14 and a 16. The 16 hits. Oh, no, they both hit. Sorry.
Okay. What I meant to do was this.
Yes.
That's what I meant. Did I do that wrong again? Okay, then I
No,
need
that's
to do that
correct.
again.
No,
Look
that's
at me
correct.
go.
And then
That's
just do that
correct.
one more time. So you roll 18 damage on the first strike. Very nice.
Okay.
What does
So actually, I would have rolled
Eldritch-
I would have rolled a 14. Sorry, it's like I've never.
14 damage.
So not rolling dice is like messing with my brain.
No worries, no worries.
G10 plus 4. Okay. Yes. So a 13 and a 14.
Okay. And another 13. Yeah, so describe what this Eldritch Blast looks like for our viewers.
It is this like purpley smoke that comes out, but it's not just coming out in a straight line, it's like curving and whooshing around itself, almost as if it's like wrapping around a central access coiling around it, and it just like goes at its target at a speed that smoke should not be moving.
Yeah, the purple smoke kind of twines around parts around Zozo and Corvell and smashes into either side of this creature, mingling with the blackish, greenish smoke that makes up its body, and sort of dispersing parts of it. You can definitely see that these Eldritch Blasts had an impact. Belief. You're
Right.
standing way in the back.
I am. I think I'd best. Oh, also, point of clarification: are these things pillars?
They are.
Cool. Just so I know I can't walk over them. I'm gonna move up so I can see better, for starters. And I would like to attempt to identify what this thing is.
Okay.
I think.
You can use your action to make an Arcana check.
I would like to do that.
Okay.
So that feels like relevant knowledge. One sec.
I'm used to playing Pathfinder where there's a DC for these things, like determined by the rules, but I just get to decide. 'Cause this is Dungeons and Dragons, baby.
Yeah.
Alright. Ooh, that's not a great roll. I rolled a 10.
A 10.
Yeah.
You have never seen a creature like this before, so you don't know. The best that you can tell is whatever that spell circle is you think caused this transformation. How
Okay.
or why or in what way, you do not know.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, so that's my action. I'm not gonna do anything else because there's nothing else I can actually do. But I'm going to telepathically tell Proof, who's sitting up top.
Up on the balcony.
Yeah, I want him, because I can't see as well from where I am, I want him to take wing and look around from the air and basically see if there's anyone, because everybody's panicking. I basically want him to look and just see if there's anybody who looks like they're, hostile. You just triggered a spell, or, did something like that.
Absolutely.
Basically, I want to look for hostiles other than that thing.
All right. Where are you gonna have Proof fly to?
So he's okay. Yeah, I'll just have he has like 50 feet of movement. I really just want him to kind of go there. So he's like
All right.
50 feet up, but he's basically just kind of
All right.
out there in
So
the middle.
if
Up
he's
there.
50
Yeah, that'll
feet
work.
up in the air, the only people he's going to be able to see are the people out in this grassy area, because there is and the people up on the balcony.
Right, but there are a lot of people out there in the grassy area, right?
There are. Have
Okay,
him make a
cool.
perception check, please.
Marvelous. We'll do. Ravens have a +3 on that. Memory serves. 20.
20. From his vantage point, he cannot see anyone that looks anything other than surprised and horrified. But what he does see is up on the balcony, he sees Jethan and Petra, who were sort of standing in the corner talking, have both sort of, like, Petra has her hands pressed to her face in horror. Jethan has sort of pushed her behind him and gone for the sword that is strapped to his side. But you see Petra just sort of looking at it, and she looks stricken.
That makes sense. Okay, but he's clearly there, like, he's got a sword out, he's gonna protect her, what it looks like?
Yes, but actually, because she's next in the turn order, what you see is Petra go, "Mother, no!" And run over to the long banner that is hanging, and vault over the edge and start, like, riding down the banner to get to the ground. She is going to make an acrobatics check to try and do this. Oh, I don't need to roll this privately, do I?
Please roll well.
Yes, please.
Please roll well.
22.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So with surprising grace, luckily she is wearing pants and not a dress. I think actually what happens is Petra pulls out like a small dagger and like makes a cut, so the banner rips.
It's more dramatic.
And pulls her down to the ground, where she hits the ground next to this guard, and sort of directly near you, and you can see her like freaking out.
Right, okay.
Next in the turn order, we have this thing.
Look.
It is going to kind of, you see it kind of clutch at its face, or where the face of a human would be, and then just sort of contract really small and then burst outward. And a swirling sort of like lines of this dark smoke filled with sand start whirling around it in a 30-foot radius. So anyone who is in that first row of seats, which would include you, Belief, all of these guards, Petra, yes, everyone except for Proof, because he is 50 feet in the air.
Tactics.
I need all of them to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh no.
Oh, good.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay.
Ah yes. A 6.
That is a failure.
14 for Zozo Bob.
That is a success.
21.
Success.
Yay.
Oh, what the? Wait, what the shit? That's bullshit. I got a 10.
That is a failure.
Look, you've succeeded at something today.
It's called
Okay.
karma. It's called karma, sister.
I need to
What-
roll for the
What does that say about
guards.
me? I had done nothing to karma.
No comment.
The guards all fail.
Oh no.
Let's find out about Petra, shall we?
She's gonna ace it.
She also fails.
Well,
All right.
she's under a lot of stress right now.
That is so true. So, anyone, Corvell, what did you roll? Sorry, 13? I'm sorry, that's a failure. Oh, Justin, we can't hear you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's why you didn't
That's
hear
why I
my
didn't hear
saving
what you
throw. Yeah, I was
said.
like,
That makes sense. All right. So anyone who failed their saving throw is going to take 14 points of slashing damage.
Ow!
14?
That's
Oh, okay.
correct. If you
Jesus.
succeeded on the saving throw, you will take
Right.
half that much.
Which, if I use my math powers, is 7.
That's correct.
7. Okay.
Does this avoid uncanny dodge?
It is not a dexterity saving throw. Oh, uncanny dodge is for melee attacks.
Just attacks, yeah. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
and then
Okay,
at
thank
7th level you would get evasion, but that is only for dexterity saving throws.
you. Cool, thank you.
No problem. So all 3 of these guards are dying.
Oh, well,
Fuck this.
that has rapidly gone downhill.
And you also see several of the nobles in the front of the crowd sort of slump. Keon, who is sitting in the second row, is just out of the reach of sort of the whipping sand. You can see a little bit of an abrasion on his face as he sort of raises his eyes with the creature. And Corvel, you see it reaching out toward you, and the mouth sort of forms Zozo. You see this too. It reaches out to both of you with both hands, kind of seemingly trying to say something. But all that's coming out is this sort of outpouring of smoke and sand.
Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you failed the saving throw, you're also blinded.
Cool.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Yes.
That's better.
Mohaka, I think what happens to you is the sand kind of gets in under the mask and into your eyes. So you are blinded, but you can hear the screaming.
Unfortunately, I'm a spellcaster, which means I can't do anything except... I can't do anything. Everything I can do involves me needing to see. So, sorry, y'all.
Most things involve needing to see.
We had a good run.
Most things involve needing to see. This is true. All right. Oh well. It's fine.
Would you like to move?
I guess. Not sure where I would move to. The blindness sort of threw everything I had in mind out the window.
The good news is it only lasts until the end of your turn. So.
Hooray.
Cool. Alright, so here is what happens. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna have to temporarily use this. You see sort of arcane symbols start lining up across Mohaka's... well, you can't see it clearly, but you kind of notice it under the cloth because it's all very like shawl-like, thin. But you notice the glow underneath as it just kind of goes up around her arms, and she casts Enhance Ability and is going to cast Bear's Endurance on herself.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
What does that
And
look
she's
like
going to
on
get-
a Warforged? Like, is there any notable physical change, or is it just these runes?
It's just the runes, really, that sort of light up, and they're kind of both what power her and give her access to cast magic. So there's just this shimmering light, like almost like a shield, kind of just over her body.
Nice. Awesome. That is your action. Any movement or bonus action?
I don't think I can do that because Bardic Inspiration also requires seeing whoever it is.
Ah, I see.
Hmm.
So I get 8 temporary HP.
Very nice. Very nice. All right.
Yes.
It is the guard's turn. I'm going to roll their death saving throws. Although, actually,
Yeah.
there is a guard on the balcony who is going to go ahead and make an attack roll because he's got a bow.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
Huh.
I forgot about him.
Smart guy.
Yeah.
Note to self, Bardic Inspiration is just somebody who can hear you.
Oh, well, you know that Chastity is standing right next to you.
Yes, well,
Help me.
Chastity is right next to
Half
you.
my hit points.
Well, I mean, Bardic Inspiration can't really help you with that, but,
It lasts for a minute.
true. So, Mohaka is gonna flail and her arm is gonna, like,
Popping up
latch
blood.
onto Chastity, and she's going to say, but why don't you do what it is you're very good at and just dispatch this thing? And you feel sort of like an arcane, almost like an zap of electricity, but it's more magic that just pours into you, and now you have a D6 6 bardic inspiration. Oh, D8.
Yeah,
Sweet.
man. 5th level.
Yeah, man.
All
All right, cool.
Cool.
This is my first time playing a bard, guys.
Hey, it's all good. The guard up on the balcony is going to fire an arrow. He hits! Woohoo!
Awesome.
Let's see. The arrow mostly passes through. Zozo, you are standing closest and can see this, that it seems to do less damage than you would think.
But it does some damage.
Some
Like,
damage.
I can see that it's wounded this thing
That
in
is
some way.
correct.
Okay.
There is another guard back here who's going to start running forward and just shouting at the nobles like, "You must get back! You must get back!" And is going to use his action to try to stabilize the wounded noble sort of over at the... Or actually, I think what he's going to do is step in front of Lady Petra. That makes way more sense. And just sort of put up his shield, and you can see him, Belief, as he runs past you, sort of shaking with fear, but still trying to do his job. At the top of the order, you see, again, I think Belief and Zozo are in the best position to see this. You see, following his cousin, Jathan, come rolling on down.
Oh my god, face plant.
And landing next to Petra, and kind of also sort of taking up a guarding position, and seeing that she looks very wounded, he is going to lay on hands.
Cleric!
Paladin, right?
Yes.
Hey!
Oh,
yay.
Paladin, I mean.
Corval, we're back at you.
So yeah, he's blinded and has this monster in front of him, and I think he's just like, Zozo, I can't see.
Just as a quick rules note.
Does Zozo respond? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yes. Zozo reaches over and says,
Hold my arm! Get behind Zozo's shield!
Can you see?
Yes, I see! Guard arrow and not do too much damage. Zozo think this bad. It dead. Not alive. It not gonna be wound like regular thing. Please get behind. I'm going to try smash soon.
So he says, okay, Zozo, you know that I'm right beside you always. And then he starts running for where he remembers there was a... and he's just gonna jump in the fountain.
Okay. All right.
"Wait, where you? I didn't hear where you remembered there was a what?"
Fountain?
Justin, are you just gonna run away, or are you going to disengage?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I'm gonna take a wild swing at it
Okay, go ahead and make
as a
an attack
distraction
roll.
for my run against it.
Make an attack roll with disadvantage.
Okay.
Hey,
I'm just gonna
disadvantage doesn't mean miss.
I'm just gonna roll twice if that's okay. Just
Yeah,
'cause
that's
it's
totally
easier for me. 14?
You hit,
Whoa! Okay.
Most impressive.
and it is engaged with your ally, which means you do sneak attack damage.
Miss.
Oh wait, no, you had
This is
disadvantage.
great.
I'm sorry. You had disadvantage on the attack roll, so you can't get.
Oh yeah.
Yep,
I lied.
that. Yes, that.
That makes
Sorry.
Still miss.
makes sense.
Miss
Okay,
it.
let me modify this then. So for 5 damage,
5 points of damage. Is your rapier magical?
it is not.
All right, it does less damage than you would hope.
Okay, but because I hit it and because I'm a swashbuckler, I get to spin away from him, and then I just go falling backwards into the fountain. And I'm like rubbing my eyes, just like trying to put my eyes underwater and like trying to get the sand out of it.
All right, Corval, you kind of fall backward. The fountain is deeper than you would have thought it was, so you don't take any damage.
Good.
It is a pond with a fountain sort of built in the middle of it. And there's something you're trying. It washes the sand out of your eyes, but your eyes still kind of sting as you fall backward into the fountain, and your mouth floods with this water. And it's got kind of an odd taste to its pond water.
I'm sure that's fine and won't come back to hurt me at all.
Yeah, so Corvel falls back into the fountain, but you're no longer blinded since it's the end of your turn. All right, Zozo, you saw Corvel take a wild slash at this creature and then go rocketing off the side of the stage. What would you like to do?
I feel pretty relieved that he's out of the action at this point. I think I'm gonna put my shield down and grab my sword and take a whack at the thing, since I'm standing close to it and I can see.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of sword you got, Zozo?
It's a biggin. It's thick and it's a long sword, and it is painted with the same beautiful scrolls and lutes and musical instruments and other things that my armor is covered in. So it's a very colorful sword, and it's a two-hander, nice and heavy.
Yes.
So I'm going to take it out and take a swing.
Roll to hit.
That's a great sword, by the way, translation.
Yes, yeah, I
Just
got
for
that.
all of my, yeah. Okay. So that was a 12.
That is unfortunately a miss, but you
Freaking
do have
yikes.
a second attack.
I do, so let me try again. I'm gonna lift up, dust my shoulders off, my large shoulders. Here we go. 21.
That is definitely going to hit.
I would like to divine smite it.
Hell
If I may.
yes.
Okay.
Smite the smoke. Speak smoke.
Smite the smoke. So I'm gonna do just a regular damage and then divine smite, right?
Right, and since this is an undead creature, you get an additional D8 on your divine smite.
Okay, so I'm gonna do my
Yes.
2d6s. Hold on.
So-
Mechanics.
5 and a 5.
Yeah. Plus your strength.
Yeah. Plus, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
That's it.
yeah, 11 damage.
Yeah. 11 damage.
And your sword is not magical, is that correct?
That is correct. It is not magical.
Okay,
It's
so
a regular sword.
It will do half of that damage, but it will take the full force of your smite.
Ooh.
Zozo Bob is gonna save us all.
I hope so. I mean, he's the hardworking paladin. Okay, so now I will go in for so I get 3d8 at this point because this thing is undead, correct?
Yes, 1 + 1 per spell level, plus an additional if it is a fiend or undead. Yeah, 3d8 radiant damage, baby.
Okay, here we go. And that's plus my 7, right?
No, it's not
No.
plus any.
Okay, it's not plus anything, so let's take it off. Here we go.
Yes!
Dang! 19 radiant damage.
So, can I describe my divine smite?
Please.
So, lightning comes down from the heavens, a light appears, and a slender young man in a silver jumpsuit with silver platform boots, a red mullet, bright, and just a lightning bolt on one side of his face, comes down with a guitar and just smashes the thing, like with incredible lightning coming out of the guitar and his eyes and everything else. And you hear, "We could be heroes," just playing in the background.
Very, very into it. Yes, a mighty blow. So the creature kind of parts around the first blow, and then your second blow connects, kind of digging all the way into the stage and into the arcane circle that is beginning to dull now. You have dealt this creature a mighty blow. Do you want to move, or are you all good?
I think I'm all good.
All right. On initiative count 10, all of the nobles in the audience who aren't dead begin to scream and turn and begin to run away.
That took them long enough.
Look, they're slow and dumb and not sure what's going on. They're not battle-hardened adventurers like you guys.
Yeah.
And whose fault is that?
Theirs?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's their
Yes,
fault.
exactly.
You either live, die by the knife.
but you do see a few more people sort of run forward. You see Kian and the captain of the guard run forward, trying to sort of stabilize the people around them as well. All right, Chastity.
Okay. Question. So if I take one step back here, I'm out of the 30-foot range.
That's correct.
Okay, I'm doing that. Excellent. And now I saw this circle when I came up. Could I arcana it blind, knowing what I like from memory?
You haven't had a chance to look at the individual glyphs and kind of take time to read them. An arcana check isn't to understand something like that would require you being really close to it to try and look at it and decipher it.
What about, like, bear with me while I try to find a hole in this blindness. What about, like, a religion of, like, do I know of any, like, stories or fables? Maybe it's history of, like, this, like, kind of creature coming out of a silver.
Yeah, if you want to try and identify the creature and see if you've heard of anything like that since you have seen it, you can use your action to make an arcana check, yes.
Okay, cool. Or would it be history? Maybe?
Arcana. Damn it. For sure.
Okay. I'm like the
Did you get
the
some
world
sort of...
that doesn't know.
Oh my god, twinsies.
Oh.
17.
17. I think there's a memory that's coming to you. You're not 100%. You don't necessarily identify the creature immediately, but you have a memory that comes back to you. You hear a voice, a familiar voice. It says, sometimes too much knowledge can be a dangerous thing.
Stop.
You hear Arin's voice.
Arin?
Uh-huh.
Like Kieran Arin?
Like
Arin lore.
Like Arin lore.
Oh.
And I think in this moment of pitched battle, in the blackness of Chastity's mind, we see a moment of Chastity sitting with this person, this elven person with sort of iridescent hair and pale eyes, over some books of arcane lore. And you're begging Arin to let you see this tome, and that's when they reply. Sometimes too much knowledge can be a dangerous thing. Bad things happen to people who aren't ready.
And this is okay.
That's the memory that comes to you.
Okay. I guess that's my turn.
Any bonus action or additional movement?
I put a bonus action yell. Use magical shit.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Belief. You hear your sister yelling, use magical shit.
Yep, that sounds like the sister. Okay, cool. So, let me think here. I had like 6 different plans. That changes none of them. Thanks, Chastity. Okay. Actually, first though, Liza, riddle me this. I saw Corwell jump into the fountain.
Correct.
And it's pretty deep. Is he gonna have to get out of there? Because I might be able to help him with that.
You can't see him from your current vantage point. The stage is in the way.
Fair.
But you can definitely run over to sort of the corner of the stage and you'd be able to see him.
Okay, fair enough. We'll worry about that in a second. I think the first thing that we'll do is I'm going to step up with guy's name I definitely remember, Chthon. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
And also just how does Petra look? She got hit by the She failed her save against the sand thing, didn't she?
She did. She was looking really bad. Jathan came up and put his hands on her, and they glowed briefly, and one of her wounds sort of closed over. She still doesn't look great. She's definitely still would be considered bloodied,
Okay.
meaning at below half her hit points. But she's okay at the moment.
Okay. Fair enough. And if I wanted to, use an action to lead her like a little farther away from this thing, would that be, assuming that she willingly went, would that be an option?
You can move another creature at half your movement speed.
Sorry, what?
You can move another creature at half your movement speed.
Okay, so if yeah, fair enough. Okay,
So if you use your action to dash, you can like pull her away. Yes.
move her a little farther away. Okay. Again, we'll get to that in a second, but I might do that. However, first, I'm not going to do this in real life because I can't, but I whistle to get Zozo's attention. I shout one, which is just this actually would make hark back to this. I shout, Mark! And I'm going to use the my Commander Strike ability on Zozo. So you get an attack on that thing if you'd like.
Yes, you can use your reaction to make an attack against the creature. You're used to working with Belief in this way. He sort of has the tactical mind on the battlefield, and points out to you a moment when the creature is sort of turned and its defenses are opened.
Well, actually, if I might, I'm gonna put a little spin on this, because in the olden days I would distract it and then you would attack it. And now what I do, I'm too far away for that, but I can do things I wasn't able to do before. So when I yell Mark, I also cause a small like flare of sort of like blackish reddish energy to flash in front of its eyes for a second. It's sort of like a slight aggressive variant on my illusion, to give you an opening. So
okay. So I can go ahead and take another strike. Okay,
this
so
is a reaction. Yes.
Just a reaction. Okay, so I'm gonna I've got my sword. I'm gonna just whack him again. Just keep on whacking with my big sword.
Yes.
One side.
Thwack, thwack, thwackity,
Thwack
thwack.
it real good.
Thwackity thwack.
Thwackity, thwack. It was Rotten Pumpkins, one of their big hits.
It was, Rotten Pumpkins.
Nice.
Like
Dirty
made it to
20
platinum
is
with that.
Gonna hit.
Good old 20. I'm on a divine smiting. Can I do that with a reaction?
You can,
I think it's
Or
any
with
hit.
this?
I believe it's any melee hit, but I'm gonna double check that real quick.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what my sheet says, but I just want
Yeah,
to.
I'm pretty sure you
All right.
can.
Paladin could smite on every single attack they have,
Yes.
including reaction. Bonus
Thank you,
actions.
experienced
Yeah.
paladins.
That's science fact right there.
It's science fact right there.
Yeah, when you hit a creature with a melee attack. All right,
Amazing.
go ahead and roll your weapon damage separately if you would be so kind.
I shall.
I mean, is this thing gonna even live?
I hope not. I mean, I've really been getting
It's
it
certainly
together.
possible.
Hey, Zozo. Also, don't forget to increase your weapon damage by an extra D8 because Commander Strike is in effect.
Damn. All right, so add a d8 to that.
Okay, so that was an 8, and then let me add a D. Oh, you mean a D8 to my divine smite?
No, to your weapon.
To your weapon.
To my weapon damage.
You're
Okay,
exploiting the opportunity that your battle master has provided to you.
excellent. And do I have a modifier on that or no?
No, it's just
Just
extra
no, just
damage.
it's just a bonus damage.
Do it. Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
There you
6
go.
more.
Right.
Go.
6 more. Perfect. Okay, and now I will
Now that
go for
3d8
damage.
smite.
Yes. 3d8.
Finish it.
I'm gonna try 18.
All right. That is not enough to finish it. As your sword cleaves in once again, the additional lightning strike, bringing that incarnation of excellence down to wreak havoc upon this creature. but it is still standing.
Dang. Well, this do I get my second attack for this
No,
reaction or
you
no?
just get
No, this
one.
is regular. Well, I
Just
just
one.
wanted to let y'all know that with the divine smite this time, he was in an all-white suit with a beautiful blonde pompadour. Just FYI.
Excellent. I like it's a little different each time.
Yeah.
And hold on a quick second before something else terrible happens, potentially. I would now like to use Action Surge to dash in an attempt to lead Petra a little farther away from this.
Absolutely. You can go ahead and move yourself and her wherever you would like to be.
Okay. All right. So, so I sort of step around that, and just kind of give him a look, like, don't mind me. And
as you
I
step
say,
up, he whirls with his sword in your direction, but Petra kind of puts a hand on his arm.
okay. I just sort of I give him just sort of like a non-threatening look, and then I say to Petra, my lady, please, this is far too dangerous. Please, this way. And I just sort of will lead her at half speed, if she could end up just slightly behind this pillar, perhaps.
She goes with you, but as she does, she kind of grabs onto your arm and she looks at you and goes, "Aren't you supposed to be teaching me to fight, not run away?"
Fight from a. All right, lesson. I don't know what lesson we're on. Lesson 1: fight from a position of strength and cover.
And you move her around to some cover.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think you guys can probably make it down here.
Oh, cool. Can we? I'm slower than usual.
Yeah, I think you can make it to about there, and she can make it. You can kind of push her in front of you.
Fair enough.
As she whirls on you and goes for the only thing she has on her is this little knife, but she's got fire in her eyes. You actually start seeing her eyes begin to glow from within,
Interesting. Okay.
which you have not seen before.
No.
It is the creature's turn. Zozo, you have been really messing up its flavor, and it does not appreciate that.
Yeah.
So it is going to try and reach out and to touch someone, and that someone is you.
Bad touch. No.
That is
No.
a 17 to hit.
Yikes.
Does that hit you?
Let's see.
Because you just dropped your shield, I believe. The
Yeah,
wield
I have dropped my shield. I'm just holding up my greatsword. So hold on. Saving for
It's just your armor class.
just my armor class.
What kind of armor you have on?
16. Okay, this is
Chainmail.
going
Yep.
to hit you.
Yeah.
Oh dear, I'm worried.
The
Yeah.
hands latch onto you, and the smoke and sand mixture begins to pour into the cracks of your armor and into your mouth. And you are going to take some damage. How much is it? Oh, sorry, I didn't put in the command right. Might be...
If you just want to not do damage, that's good too.
21
Yeah, that would be fine.
points of necrotic damage.
Wait, how many points?
21.
Oh, my heart.
Bye.
God.
Bye. No. You know what though? Somebody can heal themselves up in here.
Somebody can heal themselves up in here.
Wait,
Wait.
good.
Okay, so hold
of
on.
necrotic damage?
21 of necrotic. Okay, I'm down to 16.
You're fine, it's okay.
And since you have just attacked it,
Oh, dear me.
it is going to move.
Oh no.
Yeah, because you just used a reaction to attack it, so it's going to move away from you. It is going to...
Attack of opportunity?
No, she already
Yeah,
used her reaction.
can I- I did.
Oh.
Yep.
I was gonna try and smack his behind, but you know.
Sorry, I need to count here. It moves here.
No joy.
And Belief, you can see that it is moving towards Petra.
And I made that deduction already. Good.
All right. Next in the initiative order is Muhaka. Muhaka, you can see.
Yay! Alright, she takes stock of everything for a moment as, you know, the lights had dimmed in the mask and now they just kind of flash back on. And she is not happy, so she is going to stride forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You see proof circling above you.
And then I see you over there. It's lovely. Alright. I'm not sure if what I have no idea on the state of this thing, so the first thing is going to happen is once again, there's that glow now, but it's so much brighter, and for a moment it's too bright, and when it comes back, there's just all the damage that she took is gone. It's almost semi-illusionary, kind of like if you were to look through like the mirage of some kind of not of this world, as she uses her bonus action to use Mantle of Inspiration.
Nice.
Alright, all my hurt people, where you at? We're gonna give Zozo 8 temporary HP. We're gonna give Belief 8 temporary HP. And we're gonna give Miss...
I've taken some.
I got...
Is Chastity here?
Yeah, she's.
Yeah,
but
but I
Oh,
was
okay,
too
yeah.
far
You can
away.
take it, yeah.
Yeah. Because that thing is moving
don't-
towards them, so I'm gonna give it to Belief and her. What's her name again? Petra. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, go for
Petra, the 8 temporary HP.
Yeah, she
And
looks
then-
way better.
Yeah, good. And the last thing I'm going to do is from her chest, you hear this ear-rending shriek, this peal of like metal on metal or discordant noise. She then uses dissonant whispers on it.
Before we resolve that, your Mantle of Inspiration also allows the people affected to move up to their speed as a reaction. Isn't that right?
That is right.
Okay. Belief,
I forgot about that.
Zozo has already used his reaction, but Belief and Petra can still do that. Petra is definitely going to.
Where did she go?
I think she's going to start running for the door, which is over here. So she's going to like run down this way.
Okay. Then yeah, I will follow. And basically, I'm going to try to position myself between her and it as best I can.
Sounds good.
If the door is literally right there, maybe.
It's
I guess.
like here.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, whatever. This will do then. That'll work.
Yeah. 1 second. I'm gonna. Yes. Okay. Yeah. All right. And now Muhaka, dissonant whispers.
Yeah. I'm gonna try for some dissonant whisper, so it needs to
Alright.
make a wisdom
A
save.
wisdom saving throw.
A wisdom saving throw.
Ooh. Helps when I don't roll it wrong.
I'm actually hoping it succeeds.
It does. It rolls a 19.
Perfect. Now it doesn't run away, but it will.
3d6, I believe?
Oh, I was gonna cast it at a higher level.
Oh,
'cause
higher
I
level,
have third
okay.
level spared
Yeah,
slots.
please go ahead and announce when you're casting a spell, what
All right.
level you're going to use.
Okay, my bad.
No worries. Just so you don't change your mind after it succeeds or fails or whatever.
Oh, I wanted it to succeed
Yeah.
because then it meant it wouldn't run away, which would be.
Yeah, we'd have even more words later then.
And this
Yes,
is
so that's-
psychic damage, is that right?
Yes, it is psychic damage as this peal of discordant sound blasts it.
Awesome. So it's going to take 11 points of psychic damage.
Yay.
Muhaka, you see this sonic wave kind of burst into it, and the creature bursts apart. The smoke and sand and like when Chastity hit it, it kind of burst a little bit, and reformed. And this time it bursts apart, and you're waiting for it to reform,
Closer.
and it doesn't. And
Good.
there's sort of a beat, and you still hear people inside running and screaming, but after a breath, 2 breaths, it's gone. Whatever it was, it's gone.
Are we out of initiative?
Yes.
Okay. So Chastity comes running up to Belief.
Mm-hmm.
She fucking like books it to him. She's like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I just kind of like, yeah, fine. That's hardly that's not important right now. I look at Petra to see how she's doing.
You see Petra kind of like, she's walked forward to sort of the ashen remains of this creature. And even if you're trying to hold her back, she's like looking at it.
No, don't stop her. I'm distracted by Chastity.
And I think if you don't stop her, she kind of kneels down into it and is like looking at it, like, and you still see that glow kind of surrounding her, and you see her kind of touching it and like, Mother?
Okay. Yeah, if she like goes like, if she's touching it, step up behind her, and I just and I say, my lady, I'm sorry, but we don't know what happened. You might want to, please. And I just sort of like kind of try to sort of like separate them just slightly.
Yeah, and you kind of see Jethan come up behind her as well, and kind of say, "Yes, Petra, you should be sure to only be around the people you trust in this moment." And he kind of puts his arm around her and takes her away from you.
Rude.
And takes her over to the captain of the guard.
Seriously?
And then you see him kind of turn and walk over to the stage and hop up onto it. Zozo, he comes up like right next to you and just kind of gets down on one knee and begins looking at the sigils.
As he does that, I think Corvel climbs out of the fountain, sort of like pulls himself on his arms like back onto the stage. And he just like looks at Zozo and he's like, "We were a really great team, just like old times." And then he just like spits a little water up on the stage.
Zozo says,
Thank you for help. Just at you on your head.
You see this knight, this other paladin kind of look you over, Zozo, and his initial sort of reaction is kind of confusion, and then he looks at you and sort of gives a nod and he says, "Admirably done. Now, I think I know where our culprit is." And then he jumps off the side of the stage and and ducks around a tree. Chastity, over by where you were standing, and you see him grab someone and drag them out. And you see a terrified looking Yuan Ti man.
What's a UNT?
Excellent question. Yuan Ti are humanoid snake people? So this man, for example, has sort of like this pale stripe running down his throat and chest. His brow is kind of scaly. He doesn't have any hair. His eyes are large and completely yellow and have sort of snake-like pupils. And he's dressed in this sort of like kind of skimpy, extravagant outfit. This is the contortionist who was on stage earlier.
I want to go running up in between them, and while I'm running up, I want to do like an insight check to see like, does this Yuan Ti look terrified, or does he look like more angry that he got caught?
Yeah, go ahead and make an insight check.
Because I don't like this guy. This paladin.
Jump to conclusions.
See.
Nice.
Yeah, what the fuck's going on? 22.
22. Yeah, natural 20.
With a natty.
Yeah, you see this, as you come running up, the Yuan Ti man looks over at you and just says, please. And as he speaks, the forked tongue kind of comes out between his teeth, and he looks at you. He looks bewildered and afraid.
Yeah. Okay, so...
And he's also injured.
Okay, so I jump in between them, and I'm doing like one of these things, and I'm like, whoa, why are you just making broad assumptions? Like, this man is obviously terrified. He didn't do anything. Why don't you climb off your fucking white horse?
And he says, I would not expect Devilkin to understand.
I would not. Is he human?
Yes.
I would not expect a mere human to understand. You disgust me, and I spit on him.
He says, do you know who I am?
I don't give a shit.
And I
If
lock
you are
you
going to
up
start-
along with this scum.
Try it.
This is.
Do you know who I am?
Gonna step in between here.
Yeah.
Yeah, is this Javed?
Yo!
She's doing this too?
No, this is
No, it's not. Okay.
Jethan, who is
This is Jathan. Okay.
yeah, he's about he's in his very early 20s, heavily armored, sort of swept back dark hair. Yeah, he's very good looking, but at the moment his face is contorted in anger.
So for the record, Chastity is not like doing this to like be kind. She's doing this because she hates this guy and he's jumping to conclusions about like a hybrid creature. So she's like, oh, fuck this racist asshole.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't care.
But Mohaka is going to definitely step in between and just force her way in between, and she's going to stare him down and say, act as befits your station. And try to get the whole idea is like, well, you know what you are? You are a paladin. Now act like a goddamn paladin and stop throwing a hissy fit like a child. In that one statement.
Go ahead and make... I kind of feel like this is an intimidation check, but if you would like to roll it with persuasion, I am also amenable to that.
It doesn't really matter.
Okay, yeah. Your choice.
Performance.
I will perform
They're all
it.
performance checks, Reed.
While Anastasia's rolling just for flavor, Corvell stands up and starts brushing off water, and he says, yeah, act with a little bit of decency and respect.
And you've met... Corvell, you have met Jathan before. And he kind of looks over at Mohaka and then at you, and he says, well, what would your father think of this company
12.
you're keeping? Talk about the respect, man. This
Well,
guy
that was
is
a
like
12.
10 years younger than you.
Yeah.
Oh, what a little shit.
Yeah, I grew up with this guy.
If I can just interject real while all of this is happening, if Belief could sort of stump across to where the circle was and start looking at that. It takes a second. I think I got sand in my but yeah, I clearly my friends have this well in hand, this situation over there, so I'm just going to look at the magic residue and see what the deal is.
Yeah, absolutely. As you're doing that, Zozo, a very small man that you recognize, probably comes up to about your knee, kind of comes up and places a hand on that knee and just says, well done. Really very impressive.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for getting me invite.
He nods.
I'm thinking, do I recognize him as
Yes.
the captain of the guard?
That's correct. He is a very dapper-looking halfling man with sort of swoopy dark hair. And he says, do you know what that was? What happened to her ladyship?
I know Thing was dead. Tell me more. What happened?
You're the captain of the guard. I'm assuming you can tell us.
Magic is not my specialty. And several of my guards are dead. It's certainly something more powerful than I have ever dealt with, and we are indebted to you. And Sir Jetan, these people dealt with this threat. We should show them some respect. And Jetan, still bristling, kind of not really listening to anybody, has sort of crossed his arms and is still sort of standing menacingly right next to this Yuan Ti.
Zozo's just gonna say,
Zozo, friend.
and he's gonna try and, menace a little bit, but he's also, being a paladin, wants to keep things pretty respectful.
Yeah, he's sort of backed off for now, but begrudgingly, and more because everyone is watching than because he believes any of you. Is the sense that you guys are getting.
That what? Sorry.
I want to
you
stand
went
next.
really.
Oh, sorry. Jethan has sort of backed down a little bit, but more because people are watching than because he's cowed by anything that you guys said, is the impression that you're getting. He's sort of pouting.
Like he
I
doesn't.
want to kind of like take the Yuan-Ti away a bit, like away from him a bit, and when I go, I want to like smile at him, flashing my fangs a bit.
Sure. You start stepping forward, and the captain of the guard says, "He was very close by. We'd like to ask him some questions. Please do not go out of sight."
But yes, of course, but also I was close by, and no one's accusing me of creating a magic circle.
And you see Jethan about to open his mouth.
Yeah.
Everybody in the party.
Yeah. Yeah. You hear
spoke a
Believe
little too
audibly.
soon.
You hear Believe audibly roll his eyes.
Believe you are making an examination of this circle, are you not?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and roll me an Arcana check.
I will. Let's see here. What is my Arcana? That amount. Yes, that amount. Cool. That is 22 knowing things.
Absolutely. So the circle has stopped glowing, but you can see sort of traces of it burned into the wood. And it takes you a few minutes studying this. And what you notice is that it is, in fact, 3 arcane circles, all 3 of which are written in different languages.
Wow.
Interesting.
What languages do you speak?
At the moment, Common, Infernal, and Elvish. With a little bit of time, and provided that Chastity keeps rambling for.
So
I can ramble.
are you going to ritually cast comprehend languages?
Yeah, if I can't read these things, as soon as I identify that they are scripts, I'm going to be, this is more complicated than I thought, and I immediately get out a piece of chalk and start, setting up the ritual for comprehend languages.
Absolutely.
Pull out my little vial of soot and ash.
I'm definitely trying to help distract Jathan as well. And I would say, yeah, my dad hated my friends. That's why I hung out with him. Just because he's dead doesn't mean he wasn't an asshole.
He kind
It's
of,
like he...
he's dead. Paranigo. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Thought it was your job to be up on these sorts of things.
Oh, burn.
Ooh.
He sort of narrows his eyes at you and just goes, "I am sorry for your loss."
Oh, he
Don't
kind
be,
of
I
said it like a
didn't-
dick.
Don't be, I gained more than I lost. Responsibilities, mostly.
Yeah.
He thought a lot of you, though.
And yeah, at this point, he kind of looks around at all of you guys, seeing that he is sort of losing this battle, stalks off toward Kian and Petra, who have arrived, and you see that Kian kind of has an arm protectively around the small of Petra's back, and she's looking up and believes she sees you setting up this ritual and hops up onto the stage next to you and goes, "Are you going to find out who did this to my mother?"
I'm sort of quietly intoning things as I sort of scribble on the stage, and kind of sort of distractedly, I just say, actually, I just distractedly just say yes.
I walk
That is
up to
like
her and I go, "Don't you know to never interrupt a spellcaster when they're casting a ritual?"
Is that what he's doing? I have only just begun to learn magic, so
The
no.
first thing is, oh great, lesson the second. Don't interrupt a spellcaster when he's casting a ritual.
While this is
And then I
happening,
kind of like pull her back a little bit, but like oddly nice for chastity.
That is odd. While this is happening, Proof is sort of hopping around the edge of the unpleasant circle and looking at it, and periodically just saying under, like, kind of very quietly saying, like, Orcish? Dwarvish?
Love it.
Elemental?
At this point, all of you see a woman coming up to Kian. You've seen her around the party, and she says, "Sir, all of the guests are accounted for except for those four. We are giving medical attention, but I am afraid Sir Rajesh is dead. I will make the appropriate arrangements." And he just sort of nods and says, "Yes, thank you." And she nods and looks out over all of you, just sort of coolly, blankly maybe even, and turns on her heel and begins moving away.
Cool. I approach one of those are trees and plants there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I approach the tree, put my hand on it, and you kind of see runes move from her hand onto the tree as she casts Speak with Plants.
Very interesting.
It is a garden. Did you not expect?
Frankly,
Literal garden.
no. Did it cross my mind? Never. D&D, baby.
Baby!
All
And
right.
I will cast Speak with Plants to see specifically people who might have lingered on this spot of the stage. That it kind of, sort of, in its, tiny amount of sentience would...
Yeah, I'm gonna look at the exact text of Speak with Plants. So you go up to this palm tree, and sort of put your hand on it.
It's within a day.
Yeah. Okay, within a day. I think here's what you get. You get the impression of, people building this stage. A number of people, sort of and they all kind of have this confused mass of face, to them. You get the feeling that a bunch of people move the stage, and there's just an impression that a lot of people have touched this in the last couple of days. It's been put up and built there. You see lots of workers wearing kind of a similar uniform to those gardeners that you saw earlier.
Yeah.
You actually see the woman who was just there kind of pointing and overseeing things.
Cool.
And then you feel something. You feel a presence reaching for you.
In lifetime, not like in the past, like in the
Yes,
view. Is it?
now.
Does I feel it immediately?
You feel something
okay,
at
that's
the edge of your mind.
well. I don't fear knowing things. It's fine. I kind of curiously try to figure out what that thing is. What this
Make
trying
a
to
wisdom
approach.
saving throw.
Yeah. What are lessons? Lessons aren't meant to be learned.
Yeah, this is how we learn.
You are
9!
9.
I am not. Look! This is the closest I've gotten to a 10, okay? This is the closest I've gotten to a 10.
Moving up in the world.
You all see Muhaka crumple to the ground, unconscious.
What?
And that
Mohaka!
is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Crazy.
Guys,
Very cool.
everyone who is watching, thank you so much. If you want to find out more, please tune in next week. We have 5 episodes left of this exciting murder mystery story. We really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate you being here. This is the first session I've ever DM'd for streaming, so it's very exciting. Thank you, players, for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you, ManaPot, for hosting us. If you are interested in more great streaming content, we have a bunch of stuff coming up this weekend. I believe we have a Starfinder show on Saturday night. And then we have our amazing Invisible Sun game, GM'd by Zach on Sunday. And we also have Mana Mornings this Sunday, which I think I will be there. So tune in for any of that stuff if you want to see us. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming to game with us and watching the show. Yeah. Good game, and yeah. Have a
I had
great
so
night.
much fun. That was great.
Yay!
Bye.
All
Thank you,
right.
guys.
We
Bye.
will see you next week. Bye.
Ooh.